Hi, this is Mark from Success4. We're here at the Best You at London Olympia, having a really, really good event.
Hey guys, I am here with John Kenny, who is the UK's leading interpersonal relationship coach. John, thank you for being with us today. So you're here at the Expo. Tell us a bit about, first of all, interpersonal relationship coaching.
So interpersonal relationship coaching is about the relationship that you have with yourself. How you relate to yourself will determine the kind of relationships that you have in your life. It will determine how much success and happiness that you have in your life. Because if you don't have a healthy relationship with yourself, it's really hard for you to have healthy relationships with other people, and it'll also stop you from living the life that you want and making positive choices and decisions for yourself.
So being an interpersonal relationship coach, a question I'm sure you get asked a lot of the time is, couples. So it's like you said, having that relationship with yourself. Talk a bit about the sort of difference between the interpersonal relationship and having somebody to work on a relationship between two or more people.
Yeah, well, I have worked with couples before, but we're also different, and the way that we see things is very personal. So, and when we're in relationships, you've got two people's personal points of view and personal feelings to take into consideration. So I think the way that I work is, if you can understand how you relate, and if you can understand how people then relate to you because of how you feel and what you do, and then you can understand how others want to relate to you, because with my coaching it's not about just understanding yourself, but once you can understand yourself, we also can work on how other people see you, how you see other people, and you can understand maybe some of their behaviour, some of their emotions, and then you can, if you want to, again, this is why this is all about choice, you can decide if you want to take into consideration how they might see things, how they might feel about things, and you can really understand how others are approaching you too. So you can make a choice about what kind of relationships you want in your life, what kind of relationships you don't want in your life, what relationships you feel like you have to have in your life, but you can then accept those relationships for what they are. You can see people for what they can offer you, what they can't offer you, and what you're happy with. But to really understand yourself will give you that overview of how your relationships can be, and you get a choice about those relationships, and you can choose how you want to live with them.
Awesome stuff. So how did this all come about for you, John?
Well, I was originally a counsellor. So I was a counsellor for 12 years, and I had counselling myself, and I understood all of my emotions, and my life didn't change. So I was working as a counsellor and I was helping people, and then I came across a coach at a business event, and they had a brief chat with me, and they said, okay, so you understand how you feel, is your life changing? And I said, no, but this is my story, this is where I come from, how do I change that? And it wasn't about changing the past, it was about changing how I see the past. It was changing my emotions about the past. It was understanding what I believed about myself based on my past. So having coaching myself really released me from the kind of the emotions and the shackles of the emotions I was carrying. So that's when I decided to do a diploma in coaching to add to my counselling. And over the last 6 years, I've integrated the both to kind of come up with the interpersonal relationship style coaching that I now do.
That's awesome stuff, and I think a key thing you said there was, particularly when people get into things like personal development, self-development, they read all these books and they understand the concept of, what is there and how things should be working. But as you said, for something to still be there, it seems as though, like you said, experience in coaching is something that had a big shift on you, and now you share with people. So something else I want to ask you, John. So coming from a counselling background, where do you see the difference? Because again, some people have been to a counsellor and they're at that point where there's sort of like a theory behind it, but they've not experienced the shift. So what do you see as the difference between counselling and coaching?
I think that it depends on the individual, but for me personally, and then this is why I've adopted this approach, is counselling helped me to understand how I felt. It enabled me to look at where my feelings maybe have come from, but it didn't shift anything. So I was still having very bad relationships. I was still trying to do things business-wise and self-sabotaging because I hadn't shifted. I didn't believe that I could change my life. I believed that my story was set. And it was only when I had coaching that I realised that you can change your life, that you have a choice, and you can tell yourself a different story. You know, your story's never going to change. You're always going to come from where you came from. But how you see that, how you feel about that, what you believe about that, what your perceptions are about that may not necessarily be true, and you can let them go. And that's how I help people with the coaching side of things. So I do still like to understand where people come from, because I don't think I can help people if I don't know their story. But once I know their story, and once we've explored their story to see how they feel and where they come from, then we can then look at how we're going to change that and move that forward. With counselling, there are counsellors out there who will do something maybe similar, but mostly people come to counselling because they want to talk about how they feel, and sometimes that's enough. But then you get to a point in counselling where it's okay, you know how you feel, and this is where I got to, what do we do next? And this is where the coaching comes in to kind of move people forward.
Awesome. So John, for people who are at that point now, what is the best way to get in contact with yourself, and you? Where do we find you?
Well, I'm based in Hertfordshire, but I do most of my work now is online, so I can work with people anywhere in the world. So you can contact me via my website, which is www.johnkennycoaching.com. My email is info@johnkennycoaching.com. You can look at my Facebook page, which is John Kenny Coaching. I also have an Instagram, John Kenny Coaching, as well. Just drop me a line. I do offer an hour's complimentary consultation as well, because people need to know who I am. I need to maybe understand your story to make sure that we're a good fit. I want to know that I can help you, and obviously the people that come to see me want to know that I can help them. So by offering that hour or so complimentary consultation, we can see if we'll be a good fit to work together as well.
Amazing. Thank you for your time today, John, and enjoy the rest of the expo. All right, take care. Thank you.